Hi everyone, David Maley here. Today we're going to do something really cool. I'm going to show you how to use the calculate function in Power BI. And today we're going to be dealing with tool rentals sales or tool rentals from 2016 and 2017 for a chain store that rents tools. So what we're looking at here is we have a sheet called day. And in this sheet, we have all this data here. Now, keep in mind, any of these calculate functions here, you see 4 of them right now. I added those to it. I'm going to show you how to build those. So right now, if you look at it, everything other than that has a summation thing right next to it, right? I mean, sum of instance, sum of repeat rentals, sum of new rentals. All right, so we're going to focus on new rentals. We're not going to focus on total rentals or repeat rentals. We want to focus on new rentals. We have that data here, and we have it by day and new rentals. So right now we have these 2 columns. I want to add these 2 columns, and there's a reason for that. I want to be able to compare 2016 versus 2017 year over year in a graph like this. Now, how do I do that? I have to have in the row both the data from this year and last year for new rentals. I don't have that right now. So we're going to add that. So to do that, right now you have new rentals, right? And it's a summation thing. It won't work to do a calculate function with a summation anymore in Power BI. So what you have to do is you have to create another column. So in this case, to make it easy for everybody, I call it new rentals, measure based on new rentals. Let's show you what it is. It's not really as tough as it looks here. You just go to quick measure, select the column new rentals in this case, and then you're going to sum it. And that's all you have to do. It fills in the rest of this for you. You don't have to know that. If you wanted to build it yourself, calculate sum of day new rentals and then filter for all selected. Don't worry about this ISO no drafter. It puts it in there automatically, and the max and descending it puts that in there automatically. All right, so once you have that built, you will then you just put that in here. This is a table. So if I click on this, let's click somewhere in here. So this is selected. And you can see right in here, I've selected table. I've put date, new rentals, and the new rentals measure based on new rentals field is right there. And look at it. It's the exact same thing, the exact same data all the way down. As you can see here, the difference is that it's a calculated field, and I can now pull it up. So when I do this guy, last year's new rentals, to put them in the column with this year's new rentals, which is what I need to be able to compare them, it'll let me select that. So if I take this last year's new rentals, let's look at that. Here is the formula for that. Anytime you want to see a formula for any measure that you create, any calculate function, anything like that, you click on it, it'll pop it up like this. So you got last year's new rentals equals calculate, and then we're going to calculate the expression. The expression here is just new rentals measure based on new rentals, which is the calculated field. So we want to put that in there. Then we have comma, same period last year, day date. Day is the name of the sheet. Date is the name of the column, okay? And then I'm doing it where day, weekday equals 7 if I wanted to look at the Saturday for it. So for right now, I want to look at all days. So let's get rid of that. I'll show you that later on. So let's just copy that and get rid of it. So we're going to leave it like this, right? This. Give it a second here. And once it's done, close it out. And what you have here is last year's new rentals. Now look, it looks like it's 0. There's nothing there, right? Let's go down this field all the way down. And once we hit 2017, which is this year's data, right? It's not this year, but what I'm showing you is 2017 versus 2016. Look at the data starts to show up there. See it right there? 76, 30, 28, 25. Remember that? Now let's go back up here. 76, 30, 28, 25. See that? So all it did was it took these for 2016 and shifted them or copied them and put them down in 2017. As you can see them right here. See that? So now when I look at that, I have the data in that one row of 2017, the date, the new rentals, both in a summation column, which is the way it came in, a measured column, which is what I need to be able to create this formula, and then this, which is last year. So if I go back to the summation thing, just to show you this real quickly, in last year's new rentals, let's pull that up. If I did not have that in a measured field, hold on, let's pull it up. It should pull up here in a second. It's not wanting to pull up today. There it is. Okay, so if I did not have that in a measured column, let's get rid of this. All right, and let's just try and pull in new rentals just the way it is, right? The summation thing. Watch what happens. I don't have that to choose from. The only thing I have is this one. I can pull up built-in functions, but I want the data and it's not there. So the only thing I can do is I won't be able to see this. But if I've changed it, I think I showed you earlier, then I have this that I can bring in. You click on this, give it a second, it'll pop it in there. Obviously my computer's running a little slow today. There it goes. And once that's in there, then you have same period last year, day, date. That, close it out, and there you go. You have your data in there correctly. And then with that, what I can do is two things. If I were not to do that and I had it the way it was, like this is what I would see. It's very hard to compare this because you have 2016, 2017, it's hard to say, oh, well, here it's this. Visually, it's not a good way to compare it. This is a much better way to compare it. So it shows in 1 year, both the previous and that year's. So by doing this, if I click on this, this is a line graph. And if you look here, I have date, and then I have this year's and last year's brought into it. And it shows both years up against each other. So you can quickly and clearly see, obviously, that this year's has more higher peaks and is doing better than last year's, but it has some peaks down below. But this one's still a little bit messy. So what I want to do now is we're going to do the same thing, but what you saw earlier with that day 7, well, this is tool rentals, right? And most people rent tools on Saturdays and Sundays, mostly actually on Saturdays, and they return them on Saturday or Sunday. They don't usually rent during the week, and contractors tend to own their tools. They don't rent them. So usually the vast majority of people that rent tools, large tools, drain augers, things like that, are weekend warriors or people doing projects on their own. So they will rent on Saturdays. And so let's go to the next tab. So we've seen this one. We've seen how we did all of this. Now let's go to Saturday new rentals. Now the difference here is I've got the data. Now I put weekday, right? So we have weekday in there, and weekday, it's not Monday through or Sunday through Saturday. It is, but it's by number. So it's by number 1 through 7. 1 is Sunday, 7 is Saturday. So if we look at this, we need Saturday for new rentals, and then we need Saturday for last year's rentals. So if we need Saturday for new rentals, let's look at that. So where's that? Right here. So let me click on that, and let's show you that. So here's Saturday for new rentals. It's calculate, same thing, same measured field. Again, new rentals measured based on new rentals, comma. Now the difference here is we put day, weekday equals 7, and then year equals 1, because in this case, the data year is 0 is 2016, 1 is 2017. So we want, for that one, for new rentals, we want year is what? 2017, and the day is 7, which is Saturday. So once you've done this and you click this check, then you will have the data in here. Now it looks like there's no data here, right? Same thing as the previous one. You're doing it for 2017. It won't show for 2016. So let's go down to 2017. And we can actually make this be a little bit wider here to show a little bit better. And where are we? So let's keep going down. There we go. See how it starts to show up? Now keep in mind, this is with Saturdays, right? Sevens, and so on. So it only shows for Saturdays. Now look at this one. So we got Saturday of new rentals. That's 2017. We've got the data for that, right? For 2017, it's going to give us the last weeks of this one. That's fine. And then what we got here, this one is new rentals. Now the reason why it's got every day of the week is because I took out that one piece for the previous graph of new rentals. So let's go back to last year's new rentals. I could create a new one if I wanted to. It's not a big deal. But let's go to this, and we're going to add right in here that. See where it's day, weekday equals 7? I'm just adding that back in. Now watch what happens. It's going to think for a second, and boom, there it goes. Now keep in mind, weekday 7 here is not necessarily weekday 7 for the previous year, right? So the Saturday doesn't always fall on the same exact correlated date, okay? But that's fine. It's going to give me weekday 7 based on, for the previous one, it's on the which would be 2, which would be Sunday's 1, Monday. So Monday of this year, that date 1/2 would actually be a Saturday from the previous year in 2016 based on this data. So I've got weekly data for Saturday data for 2017 primed up against 2016's in there. So then, now that I've got that, it might sound confusing, but it's not. So just keep in mind, this is Saturday of 2017. This is Saturdays of 2016. By doing this, I can now do this, which is take last year's Saturday new rentals and Saturday new rentals, which is this one, which is this year's versus last year's. So I've got light blue is last year's, dark blue is this year's, up against each other. It's very easy to do, just like this. Values last year's Saturday and then Saturday new rentals for this year. I could have just said this year's Saturday new rentals. That's fine. I could do that too. And then I would, by creating a new one like that, I wouldn't have to change the previous one from the previous tab over here, which would have taken it down from, Sunday through Friday's data out. So that's how you do it. And then you got date here. And by doing that, I've got this graph, and this graph looks a little bit cleaner than this graph over here, which is a little bit messier. And see how the other one cleaned up because of what? That's because last year's new rentals now has, if we go all the way down into 2017, let's keep going here. Eventually hit, there you go. It only has the Saturday data in it now. The black one does. So that's where I have to go and take that and remove it to make this one correct. I can do that easily by having two different things. I don't know why I didn't do that, but it's easy to do that. So this shows you exactly here a really good comparison between the two of Saturdays, which is their peak days of the year. Which year did better, last year's or this year's? Obviously this year's has a lot more days that were better than last year's, but there is a day in 2017 that was really bad, or a week for the 2017 versus 2016. That's something that we can identify. That's what's great about data analytics and data science, is that we find opportunities. So what happened here? Maybe the store was closed for some reason. I don't know, but this would be something you'd want to bring to their attention to say, why did sales go, or rentals go from 655 to 20 something? At 28 and then back to 262. Something happened there. Maybe they lost power for that weekend. Could be, and they couldn't sell anything. Maybe they closed. Maybe it was a holiday that they closed for. I don't know, but we'd want to identify what that because that's way out of the norm for everything else that goes this way. And then you can see clearly in January in December they have lower rentals. People don't rent tools as much, and then during the summer is their peak. Obviously from May on to, actually it goes on till probably about October, and then it drops off. October, November, and then it drops off big time. So that's how the calculate function works. I'll bring it up again to show you. Here's the last year new rentals. So it shows you calculate your expression and then what you want to filter it to. So in this case, I'm filtering it to the same period last year, and then I'm also filtering it by weekday equals 7. Hope you found this interesting and helpful. This is a great way to quickly show year over year, day over day, month over month, week over week data in Power BI quickly and easily on pretty much any data set that has daily or weekly or monthly data. Thanks again. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share, and have a great day. Thank you.